Jetzt?
Welcome to the second part of our press conference with Thomas Tuchel. Let's start here at the front again. Thomas, you are leaders of the group, you've qualified. And of course, this defeat against Frankfurt has given a different significance to tomorrow's match. I'm sure you've analyzed a few mistakes. What will the team have to do differently tomorrow? It was very straightforward, but also very bitter. There were 20-second moments where we lost critical balls. That means 5 or more players are out of the game during the mistake, the error. So if you know that 20 is already too many, you can work out that 22 is definitely too many. It should normally be single figures in terms of these critical mistakes. And we have 22 of those mistakes. That's crazy in terms of the number of mistakes. That's the first thing. The second thing is that none of these mistakes led to a goal directly. Let's say 2 players against 1 or misdirected pass coming from the goalkeeper. No, in each of the situations we were able to rescue the situation. We were always more than the opponent after the mistakes, but the reaction after each mistake was miles away from our expectations, from our standards. That's what's crucial. That's what can explain this defeat. That's the only explanation for conceding 5 goals. And these are the things we highlighted after the match when we analyzed it, and that's what led to this result. Yes. Next question. The sporting director raised the issue of attitude and mindset yesterday, and he said there wasn't enough percentage shown. Is this something you perceive similarly? Jamal Musiala was saying maybe a bit was missing in terms of attitude or mindset. If that's what it was, it definitely looked like it. You know, it's very hard to argue against that. But for me, it's hard to understand why that is the case, though. This might sound weird. We had a very intense and very good week with excellent performance during training sessions, high intensity, and focus on the will to win, basically. We kept highlighting that Frankfurt plays very good football, even though their results haven't been good recently. If that's what it was, as you say, and it definitely looked like it, but I can't understand it. I can't give the explanation for that. You mentioned the mistakes, Mr. Tuchel. You made some substitutions during the half-time. Does this mean that some players will get the chance to do things better in the game against United? Apologies for the interpreter, the question isn't really audible. There's no volume on the microphone. We're working on it. I do think that's one of the critical points, yes. We thought we had made more progress, but we realized on Saturday that's not really the case, and it was a hard lesson to learn on Saturday. It was an exceptional result, of course, that scoreline. And it's painful. It's very painful, but we're going to try and get our stability back. And the team is going to try and implement all of this. That's not the issue. But it's obvious that we have been struggling. But then again, this was the first defeat during the league. We had a lot of games during the Champions League that were difficult, that weren't going our way all the time, and we always reacted very well. So we still have a lot of confidence that we will show the right reaction tomorrow. But tomorrow won't be sufficient. This has to continue for the rest of the season. And we had wanted to do a lot on Saturday. We which we didn't show on the pitch. We discussed it. And today we have the opportunity of having our final training session here in Manchester, and then we can show a reaction on one of the biggest stages in global football tomorrow. And that's just what football's like. We're going to use the training session tonight to get it right. Of course, there were substitutions to create some impulses, and everybody has the opportunity of playing tomorrow. I haven't selected tomorrow's team yet. I'm going to wait for a few more factors to consider. We'll have a discussion in the hotel tonight, and I've not made a decision yet.
I try. How difficult for you is it to look at Manchester United maybe in a tough moment and assess how dangerous they can be, considering how much Manchester United need to win this game, considering that you're through already, you have experience of coming to Old Trafford, obviously, Chelsea in the previous job, but how dangerous does that make Manchester United tomorrow, even though maybe Manchester United aren't there for their best period?
They're always a dangerous team. My experience is always very, very dangerous to play Manchester United. They have a certain aura, they have a certain mentality that makes them always very difficult to beat. They can endure difficult phases in their matches. I feel that this is part of the DNA of the club, that they can overcome difficult minutes, difficult phases in a match and still win and still steal points. They scored a high number, the highest number of goals in the group so far. They conceded also because they don't have enough points for the goals that they scored. So it is a bit of a up and down for them within the matches. They looked very, very clear and safe in Galatasaray for a very long time and lost control of it. That can happen. We had no control in the first half. It was a bit the opposite for Man United in their game, but you see in their strong moments how strong they are. But the stadium, of course, plays a big role. The spectators are emotional. The stadium creates very special moments, and saw a lot of special moments. So it's a difficult place to come and play, but it's a very, very good challenge for us.
Can the colleague over there?
Sorry.
How difficult have Manchester United been to prepare for, though, considering the 1 minute they look great, and the next minute they look fragile? And secondly, I suppose, just how big is this game? How big is it going to feel when you walk out that time?
For me personally, I think a game in Manchester United is always a big game. It cannot be described in any other way. It's a big stage. It's a big club. It's one of the biggest stages in world football. It has this certain aura and electricity around it. And to prepare we make it ourselves very easy. We prepare the best moments and prepare ourselves for the best Man United team. There are a lot of good moments, and like I said, when they are good, they are really, really good. So and very dangerous on all positions and tough to play. And for us, it's easy. We prepare this best Manchester United, and then hope that we play a part that they underperform.
Yeah.
You experienced an unstable period at Chelsea when there was a new takeover
Yeah.
hierarchy. Manchester United are about to have an investment coming, new decisions coming. Do you sympathise with Erik Ten Hag that it can be a difficult period for a manager to go through that?
I sympathise with all my colleagues, no matter if they have a change of ownership or not, but I sympathise with all of them. I know that it's sometimes demanding, and that I know that it's sometimes more difficult than it looks from outside. I think I know that what it takes to manage big clubs and big players, and it's sometimes demanding, and sometimes our periods feel a bit like stuck, and a bit like the change is not coming quickly enough for you as a coach, and that's why I sympathize heavily for my colleague, but not tomorrow. Of course, we try to beat him. We want to use the stage for ourselves to make a next step in our development. we have still a long way to go. We need to be very tough tomorrow to withstand this energy and this club here. And I'm pretty sure that Manchester United will bounce back like always, like in general. Hopefully not tomorrow, but in general.
You spoke very well in Munich for the first game about the impact that Harry Kane had on the team. Since then, he's only continued. He's got 22 goals now. Coming here close now for the second tie. Could you understand why the fans wish he'd ended up in United instead?
I think every fan would think that they wish for Harry Kane in their team. That's why we are very proud that we managed to seduce him, and we managed to steal him from Premier League and from English football. It's your skipper of your national team, and he's a big personality, a big player, a very humble and down to earth personality who loves football and who loves what he's doing. He's a role model. We are super happy. We cannot be more happy that he's with us. He gives us a lot of confidence. He gives us, of course, a lot of goals. He will play tomorrow. He will be. I know that he will be happy to be here, and that's basically the story. And I can understand all fans who want him in their team.
It's always been big matches between Manchester United and Bayern. Do you have a few memories, images in your head? Yes, bitter memories as well. Apologies, the question is not audible now again. Too low volume. Sorry from the interpreter.
Ja, das haben wir auch gemacht.
Yes, we did that. The information
wichtig.
before the match during the week was very little information, not much. I just decided that just right before the match, I pointed out that it could end up being a back three, and it did end up being a back three, so we weren't completely wrong. We just used a few examples. Second half against Dortmund, when they switched to a back three, we used 5 defenders as well. We switched against Cologne as well, where Coman dropped a big back. That was the information. Then during the match and post-match, I had kind of the impression that it was typical to get to issue that information just before they go into the pitch. Normally, you want people to forget everything and just become active on the pitch. But that information was something we definitely wanted to pass on just before the match.
Das hat dann bei mir erstmal so zum Gefühl
and it kind of gave me a feeling that we might have lost a bit of, the emotional aggressiveness. Maybe I should have said something else before the match. That was what I was going to say. So Frankfurt ended up playing with a back 4 and 2 6s, which they'd never done before that. I know when you're supposed to be the underdog, you try your best to adapt to our system. That's why it's difficult to keep doing the same things. I think that's a bit of a thing of the past, to keep doing the same stuff over and over. But it can make sense to adapt your defensive play, for instance. And this kind of flexibility is what we definitely need. But I'm going to say this again. If you just have a few days to prepare with your team, then and you have the outcome that we had at the weekend, that involves me. Obviously, I have a responsibility as well. So in terms of the first part of the question, the first match I can think of is the one in Barcelona. All these opportunities, and it was a matter of time when the second goal was to be scored, and then there was Fergie time, and everything ended up differently. But we're all young at the time, weren't we? So we'll try and do it differently tomorrow, and we'll try and win the match tomorrow to live up to our standards and do something for our confidence. 3 quick questions at the end.
You have obviously already qualified as winners, and no doubt United on their supporters may hope that you switch off a bit, or there's some complacency. Is that a risk for your team tomorrow
I can understand if people say it looked a little bit like this against Copenhagen. I did not feel it before, and the speech and the lineup was not that we agreed, or that we gave the impression that we accept 99%, because we simply don't. If you sign up for Manchester United or if you sign up for Bayern Munich, one of these two clubs, you sign up for 100% every single day. Otherwise, it's not possible. So this is the approach, and even if we would have come after a successful match now at Frankfurt, which we don't, it cannot change. I'm a big fan of not changing the attitude towards teams, the attitude towards matches, not judging matches. It doesn't work for me. It does not work like this. It never worked like this. When we wear the Bayern Munich shirt, when we go out for training, then we behave like champions. Otherwise, we cannot be champions. So this is. Of course, I know that we don't. Everybody knows that we don't have the full pressure from the table wise, but we always have pressure because we make our own pressure. We have our own demands, and we want to keep the momentum going. The record is incredible. Of course, Manchester United will do everything to beat us, to keep their chance alive, to go through. And we play for us. We play for our record, and we play for our demands. And we demand nothing but the best from ourselves. Sometimes this lack of kind of pressure from the table can lead to a lack of stress, because like some positive stress can always bring out the very best. So we had this kind of stress after our last result, and I hope that we can match the mentality, the enthusiasm and the hunger that Man United will clearly show tomorrow, because only then we have a chance for a result.
Letzte Frage, David.
Final question. Jamal Musiala was saying that he will probably not be playing 90 minutes tomorrow. That will be some kind of limit. What's your take on this?
Mindestens 8 Wochen werden.
Well, I think it's going to be at least 8 weeks for him to, at least 8 weeks, if not more, for him to come back. We'll have to see how quick he can recover. Of course, that's much too long. It took him a long time to come back after the injury of his arm, and then he was in form again during training. And then he has an injury in the first minute, which is extremely bitter. And Jamal definitely will not be able to play for 90 minutes. We'll have to wait for the final training session. I haven't made a decision yet. He can start, and we know that he can probably play 60 minutes, and or he might come off the bench and not start. I think he played for 20 or 25 minutes last time. Maybe it could help to play 30 minutes tomorrow and then do better on Sunday. We haven't made a decision yet.